Welcome to Base and Boundaries podcast. I'm your host, Amy G, and this is your one-stop shop for all things mental health and music. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Base and Boundaries. I'm Amy, and I am I'm over the moon to be talking to someone from the other side of the world. This is DUX. Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. I just got back from the studio, so I had a successful day.
Yay. No, that's good. So I know that we've been talking a little bit before the podcast started. Um, I I've known about you for a while, but it's one of them where I've got so many tracks in my playlist, but the most recent one that I was just like, this is probably like the best track I've heard in such a long time. You did a collaboration with Freaks and Geeks and it's called Cut 'Em Down. How
Yeah.
on earth did that get down? Like, are they local to you? Like,
I met Sean from Freaks and Geeks in Perth 2 years ago, actually. They've been releasing on Elevate for ages. I had a couple of releases on Elevate in the past. And, when I met Sean, he asked me for a remix I did of No Problem by Chasing Status. It's just like an edit I made for my set, like, it's not available anywhere. But he had heard it in one of my sets, and he asked me if I could send it to him, so I did, and then we just then you start chatting on Instagram and all that. And then last year, I was, just, like, making some music, like, working on an idea, and I was like, "I feel like this could be something for Freaks and Geeks," because, yeah, like as you can hear now in the final product, it's like a bit of like a rock metal, hip hop influence type thing. It's like so many different flavors, right? So I just sent them a draft, and this is actually so weird. So I met him in Perth. I made the idea when I was back in Europe, and when I texted them, they replied, "Oh, we're in Australia right now. We're on the way back to the UK. We'll listen. We'll check it out when we're back." So yeah, it's kind of everyone that was in Australia at some point to work or like listen to this record. Yeah, and then we just swapped ideas back and forth, and we never actually sat in studio together. It was all done on WhatsApp and voice notes and all that. And then
love that.
yeah, we released it like 10 days ago, I think. I'm very surprised by how crazy the response is, because it's like a heavy, heavy club tune, but, I haven't had a track stream this well in ages, so yeah.
It's really, really good. The thing is, for me, it's like first thing in the morning, I'm taking, like I say, I'm taking my kids to school at 8:30 in the morning. That is on loud, and we absolutely love it as a family. We absolutely bloody
Yes,
love
that
it.
is
It's great because the thing is I've got really great speakers in my car. So I've got a VWT Rock and it's got the upgraded speaker system in it. And honest to God, it makes my car shake. And I absolutely love that because if it's not loud, there's no point. Um, so how we were talking about families and things earlier about like, kids getting into drum and bass. Like, how do you feel as an artist knowing that there's like little people listening to it from a young age?
yeah, that's actually crazy. I always love that. I made a track 2 years ago with my friend Moz called Spaceman, and, I remember he told me, like, his workmates, they showed it to their kids and, like, like 7, 8, 9-year-old kids, and they all like, "Oh, play the Spaceman song, play the Spaceman song." It's pretty cool, I guess. Yeah. You always see the videos, like, on reels and stuff and TikTok where, like, young kids, like, hear a drum and bass track and go crazy.
Oh, they
Yeah,
do. They
it's
do.
mad. Yeah. It's so funny because obviously when I make those tunes, I don't really have kids in mind as the audience. I always
Yeah.
try to picture like a big festival stage or like a sweaty club,
Mhm.
which obviously is not the right environment for a kid.
No,
Um, so yeah, it's really nice to hear that it's also working in the car on the way to school. That's cool.
absolutely. Oh, it's brilliant. I think the thing is as well, because I advertise my podcast on the back of my car, and it's like been so many people like say, "Oh, I knew it was you from the back of your car, but before I saw it, I heard you." And I was like, "Yeah, because I'm only in a tiny little village and people know when I'm coming." And it's like I used to find it really embarrassing, but now as you kind of get older, you just don't care anymore. And you just think, well, when my dad was alive, he was really into like he was kind of into like the 90s dance scene.
Yeah.
And he was the same. So I always say, oh, I take after my dad, like it is what it is. So
Yeah, nice.
so you live in Australia now, and you were saying
Yeah.
about how the drum and bass scene is like really big over there now. Because I know that there are a few artists over there at the minute. I think Metric's over there, Andromedic's over there. Um, how has it been like watching that evolve?
Well, so I originally came here 2 years ago for a show, and that's where I met my partner. Um, and then I just been back and forth, to keep the relationship going. And every time I got here, I was lucky to play a show as well. And the great thing with Perth, I can't speak for all of Australia. I've only played in Melbourne and Perth myself so far. But the great thing about Perth is there's a lot of, like, artists coming from here. So you got
Mm,
Pendulum, they're from Perth. You got Shock One, he's from Perth. You got Floatus, they're from Perth. You got Echo and Sidetrack, they're from Perth. Now you got the new generation, Blackout, Don Darko, you got Lebowski, they're all from Perth. And I'm in Perth as well, and it's like it's crazy, like, you have, like, such a variety of people coming to the shows, and such a variety in shows. So obviously we have the sound that's popping right now, which is a bit more dance floor, jump up orientated. So like the big events where a lot of young people come, like events with like 5 to 10,000 people. That's like
yeah,
big events over summer in Perth. Yeah, they sell out, and like it's a big vibe. But at the same time, you still have that like underground vibe, like 3 to 500 capacity, where like a bit more techie stuff is played, and those shows sell out as well. And that's a bit more like the older heads and like people that just have a bit more knowledge about the culture and that stuff. But both exists in the same place, and that's I think very rare. Usually, you have one or the other, but having both in one place is really crazy. And yeah, there's just so many different promoters and also really cool venues here. Like I played my first show here at Villa, which
mhm,
was like a two-level type. Yeah, it's like a you have like a balcony and then obviously the dance floor, and it's just the energy in there. It's just crazy. And then I've also played a lot of shows at the Vault, which is like a basement club, where it's like
yeah.
it's just sweaty and yeah, just a really cool vibe. And yeah, Perth just I think it's a mix. If when I first came here, like the city in summer, the beaches, and then the big drum and bass scene, it just feels like an unreal place, and it is for the music, because as I said, you have a drum and bass event every week,
Yeah.
sometimes two, sometimes three. I remember I played a show here in 2024, and Kamo and Crooked were playing. I was playing, and there was I think Dillinger or someone else was playing, and I was at the Kamo and Crooked show, and then I left to play my show. The Kamo and Crooked one was sold out, mine was sold out, and the Dillinger one was sold out as well.
Wow.
Like, where does that happen that you have 3 events on the same day and they all sell out? Like, that's just mental. Um, so yeah, it's a crazy sport. I think every DJ that tours here wants to play Perth, or like, and usually the Perth show is the biggest one.
Yeah, I can imagine actually. That's amazing because I suppose from a UK perspective, I think for the most part, everywhere's the underground scene in particular is so big in London. But when you're like me and you live 2.5 hours away, it's not the best. But I have noticed a lot more like pop up sort of raves happening in the Midlands where I am, which is good because I think like when you go to gigs, raves, and sort of things, it's always like Manchester, Birmingham, London, all the big cities. But the littler ones, they're kind of getting more of a yeah, they're getting more of like a bit more of a attraction now, which I think is brilliant because yeah, like I was saying to you before about how I'm opening up something for young people where I want to try and get teenagers off the streets and, instead of hanging around on street corners and getting into trouble, like actually taking that creative talent that they most likely have and doing something amazing with it. Um, do you find that there are a lot of upcoming DJs, sort of like young adults now that are coming in like thick and fast? Because I've seen it personally over here.
Yeah, I mean, Perth is crazy. There's so many DJs here, which is obviously a good thing when you think about it
Mm,
from a do something useful with your time perspective. Like, it's good that people, find their love for music and dive into it. On the other hand, obviously, it creates a bit of tension because you have so many DJs, but you only have so many events.
yep.
And then obviously the listeners usually want to see someone they've heard of already, or like someone with a bit more history, or like, someone that's popping right now. So yeah, it's a good thing, but on the same time, there's a lot of ambitious people and it can be really frustrating if you don't get a shot, right? So yeah, definitely happening. I think on this side of the earth, it's even more than back in Europe, like New Zealand, Australia. Like there's so many people, young people, jumping on the decks. I think COVID played a huge role in that.
Yeah.
Um, People couldn't leave their houses, didn't have anything to do, and then you go on TikTok and you see people DJing because that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So 100%, 100%. I think it's a good thing. I also think what obviously plays into it is like technology. Like,
Mm,
I was taught DJing by a DJ from um the Netherlands called Greg Salto. When I
yeah.
was 18, I moved to Amsterdam and I started working for his label. Um and he was a DJ that started DJing in the mid 90s, I think. And I learned it from him, and then obviously I had a really, really close look on the DJ scene because he was a like global touring artist. I was touring with him like in Europe to some shows. I did most of the shows in the Netherlands with him, was driving him and like yeah, getting my eyes on the scene on the music industry. And also meeting all these big DJs like Artwell, Afrojack. I met all those guys,
Oh, wow.
and it was just yeah, we would go to these big shows they played in the Netherlands, and like I really, really was like front row in the Dutch DJ scene, if you would say so. Um, and it was a bit different. Like that was 2014, I think.
Mm,
And back then DJing was different compared to what it is now, and obviously it was different in the 90s to what it is now, and technology just changed a lot, right? Like, back in the day, you had to get vinyl. Now you bring a USB and you can put whatever tune on there that you found on the internet. The internet, everything is available at all
yeah.
times, and you can make anything. You wanna make a remix of Michael Jackson, whatever, you can do that now because you can get his vocals with AI, you can get it out of the original track, sounds pretty clean, and you can remix it. So everything's available at every time. Everyone can make whatever they wanna make. And the technology, you don't even have to understand how to DJ because other than the track selection, the technology does it for you. So obviously, the boundaries to become a DJ have been lowered massively, and
I
all it
actually
takes
have to
now,
agree with that. I have to agree with that.
all it takes now is confidence, right? All it takes to be a DJ is the confidence to be a DJ. That's all it takes.
And that's the thing because it's always a topic we bring up, but cut a long story short, you can now go on Suno or any AI app and say, right, write me a drum and bass song. I've played around with it and I can tell you right now, it all sounds tinny and horrible. I don't like it. The first time I did it, I went, that is awful. Like, because it just like I said in previous episodes, it's missing a soul. Like, when someone's made so much effort into a tune because you can hear it. Like, there's something about it. Um, and everyone has like their own stamp. Like, you have your own stamp, your own sort of like, I'm one of those like consumers, if you will. I can tell if like 1991's done a track. I can tell his style straight away. I can tell if Metric's done one. I can tell if Freaks and Geeks, prime example. I've listened to them for bloody years, and I can always tell if it's something that they've had an input in. With the rise of these AI DJs, and I say that very lightly, you can chuck a track online and say, "Oh, I've done this track. I've made it myself," and it's like a lot of the DJs now, and I see it a lot on reels and stuff like that, they have to prove that they've made that. They'll show like their screen and be like, look, this is what I'm doing. And I just think that with the rise of these like Suno DJs, I just feel like there's no place for it because it's not real. Like that's the only way I can describe it. It's not real.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like I think, and this is something I've experienced over the years that I've been making music myself. People always talk about, producers always say, train your ears, and you do train your ears when you produce music and do it for a long time. You hear how certain things sound, and for example, when I listen to a track and there's something wrong technically, usually I can identify it quite quickly now. When I was young, I couldn't, but now I can. So when I
Mhm.
hear a song made by an AI, I can spot so many imperfections and like technical issues straight away that I know it's done by AI. But here's the thing, most people can't. We're
No.
still like most people cannot. And um there a couple months ago there was this track I Run, which the vocals were done with AI and they
Yep.
sounded like Georgia Smith, and people were saying, "Oh, it's Georgia Smith," and Georgia Smith said, "No, it's not me." And then the producers admitted we used AI. I mean, to be honest, the majority of people couldn't care less. Like, they don't care. There's so many people that say, "I don't care if it's AI, if it sounds good." Um, so a lot of people just can't spot that, and
Mm.
technology is only gonna get better. So, I mean, even people like Diplo are like, "Oh, yeah, let's use AI because they sound better than any vocalist, and I don't have to deal with the vocalist. I don't have to deal with the person if they're maybe a bit stubborn or like, like saves me time." And then they talk about product, and this again is music industry versus music scene. Like,
Yep.
the industry is only looking for the fastest and like quickest way to gain the most out of something. Um, and the consumer, like probably 95% of consumers, they don't hear the difference.
No.
Um, so yeah, it's a very tricky one. Me personally, I didn't start making music to have it replaced by a machine, because I get my satisfaction from being in the studio and like, expressing myself. Like, most of
Absolutely.
the music I make it comes from a feeling, like, and that feeling doesn't even have to be something deep. It can be a simple feeling as, I want to make a banger that people in the club go hard to. That's a feeling, that's a vision.
It is.
Um, a couple years ago when I went through a breakup, I also made a lot of music and it sounded very different. It was like very okay. I want to put my feelings that I'm going through right now into music, and the music sounded way more melodic, and it was way more music for myself. Still released it, but maybe for some people it didn't do anything. But I do know from some comments and messages I got, like, people could hear like there was a feeling in there. There was a feeling in there, emotion. And I agree. Like, even as a consumer, like, I don't understand how you could make a statement like, "I don't care if it's AI or not, as long as it sounds good." Like, that is such a random statement to me, because I think the music only sounds better if there's some sort of feeling in there that you can read. If you read between the lines, like, I think that's what it's about. And then for the artist as well, like, a lot of people can't express their feelings, and that's why artists are so important,
Mm.
because they can. And that's why everyone connects with music. Every human being connects with music for a reason, because it translates feeling. Um, and the fake version of it, the AI version of it, I don't like it. And
No.
the only reason it exists, again, this is a wild take, a hot take, but I think music used to be way more political and like way more, like, music had way more message and like a statement.
Yeah.
And now imagine if AI controls music. Well, who controls AI? That's companies and like tech guys and people with a lot of money and influence. And if they can control the narrative that music is telling people, if they could control it with AI, because yeah, like, if there's no real artist sending a message, who's sending the message? Well, it's
Exactly.
people behind it. And yeah, I know that sounds like very like doomsday.
No,
Um,
that's right
but
up my
it's like
street.
but it's like I do see it that way. Like, I think artists have this rare ability of like sharing and expressing their feelings, which so many other people don't have. And, if you take that away from them, yeah, I mean, then there's not much left, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the thing because like, it's like for me, I write songs. I've always written them. I've got a freaking book as I've got so many like pages and pages, and like say with like breakups and stuff like that, I put it into words because for
Yeah,
me, like I channel it that way. But the thing is, like, yeah, like you said, not everyone has that innate ability to be able to break down if that's AI or not. I can straight away, and I'm not even a musician, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like I'm diagnosed with ADHD and I'm convinced it's a trait, but it's like some people like I know people that like severely autistic. They can pick up any instrument and just play it. And you're like, wow, what is that? Like crazy. But like not everyone can. And I think like the general consumer of drum and bass, from what I've seen, from what I've witnessed myself, oh, it's like in a universal speaking kind of thing. We all feel music, like we feel it. Like
yeah,
I can go to a rave, stand in front of a big ass speaker, and my whole body's shaking. I freaking love it because it's like that you're connected with that person. And that's the sad reality of like AI. You can't connect to it because there's like a barrier in the way. You can't. I can talk to Chat GBT, chat his ear off about flipping anything and everything. But ultimately, there's no bond there. There's no like voice noting my best mate and saying, "Oh, I've had a right crap day" or whatever. There's like lack of being a human, and we're born with that ability to connect with people. And I think as like time's progressing, I think we're becoming, and I think COVID like had a massive shift with that. Like we've just become more and more antisocial. And I just
100%.
think it's bloody sad. I really do.
It is. And on the same note, like, I don't understand why we always chase for something else. Like, life before AI wasn't bad, you know
No.
what I mean? Like, why do we need it? Like, why are we always looking for something new, something else, like something it's sometimes I just don't understand it, like, yeah,
Yeah.
people yeah, that's technology, it's like, that's, like, how it is, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not I do agree with AI if it, like
It can be a tool.
it can be a tool,
Mm.
and because my dad, for example, he's a dentist, he said to me, "Yeah, but AI is used in, like, medicine and stuff as well, and it's, like, doing things that humans literally can't do," and, like yeah, like, I feel like that makes sense, but, replacing what makes a human human with AI, I don't think that's a good thing. I
No,
don't
I
know.
don't. I
I
agree
don't
with
know.
you. I don't think that
I
either.
don't
I
know.
think
I just always wonder, like, who's actually benefiting of it, you know? And, I don't think the artists are, so
no, I have to agree with you. I
no,
think
and then again, sorry if I
no,
interrupt
no,
you.
you're good. You're good.
Um, how did AI learn? It learned by copying. And now think about it, if I sample someone's track and I don't clear the sample, well, I'm in big trouble. So AI can, like,
Oh.
use all our music and learn from it. Yeah, that's just I mean, doesn't make any sense. It's
I've
just, again,
I've been
rich
cloned by
people
AI.
just trying to get as much benefit out of whatever they can put their hands on. Yeah.
I my voice was cloned by AI a couple of years ago, and to this day, I know my voice is most likely on the dark web somewhere. But basically, I was running I did another charity, but I did it for like young parents, and I had two volunteers working for me who they got into a disagreement. They kind of tried to take over, and I'm like, look, no offense, but I started this. Like again, like the copying kind of element. And they took a voice note that I said, just like a typical voice note. They cloned my voice and then sent it to, so I rented this building off this woman. They sent it basically, and it sounded like I was slagging this girl off, and it was awful. And I had to prove that that was not my voice. The only difference with AI, my voice, you like, it kind of is in tones, its frequencies. Like I'm not talking monotone. Whereas that voice note was very, like, very straight to the point, like, very monotone. But I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's just so easy nowadays to go, "I've created a track. I can't be asked with a vocalist. You know, I'm just gonna get some voice off an app and just chuck it in. And I just find that really bloody sad because like vocalists, they put a lot of emotion into the track as well. You know, I
100%,
I
100%.
can sing a song, I can sing a song about heartbreak and then really like feel that heartbreak in that track and it comes out. Whereas you can't do that with AI. It's too like I say, if you strip everything away, it lacks a soul.
Yeah. I think with that as well, like, people connect with a person too, right?
Mm,
Like, you see it so much now in the days of, like, social media, like, some people are big, big DJs and don't produce their own music, but the people connect with them and their personality and stuff,
of
right?
course.
Yeah, if there's no story behind the vocalist, I agree, like, what is it worth? Like, how can it touch you if there's no story? Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I think it will only get worse.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, you can only make yourself that promise as an artist, I think, like, don't use it, don't rely on it, even if it would give you a benefit. I think this is another thing, like, social media in the music industry right now, they give you they pressure you into feeling that you have to always be on top and have to do whatever it takes to get on top. And yeah, I'm just not really feeling that. I've been making music for more than 12 years, like putting my all my time into it, and it took me way longer than other people to get where I am, but I feel like I've never done anything that I wasn't aligned with.
Mm,
And I had opportunities that I didn't take because I was like, "Oh, I don't feel this. I don't wanna do this. I don't wanna make a commercial record like this because I'm not feeling it. I don't wanna do that."
yeah,
Um,
exactly. You didn't
so
sell
yeah,
yourself out basically.
I don't think I have. Like, I'm quite proud of, like, my music catalog and all I've done because I know how I did it, and I never had a manager. I never had anyone really help me with my music, but I've played Rampage and I've played Tomorrowland and I've played all
Oh
that
wow.
without having that. So yeah, I'm quite confident with myself and with my path, and I just believe in the universe. Like, I got this tune now called Attention, and I hate social like, I don't really like doing social media, but I was like, "You know what? I'll just give it a go." And, I started posting about this tune, and now everybody wants to play it. Like, I'm like, "Okay, where did this
Yeah.
come from?"
Yeah.
What
See, it just I don't like I so obviously I have to do social media as part of my job, but like it doesn't bother me, but, like, for me, public speaking was a big thing. Like, so,
Yeah,
I was trying to I was talking to a DJ about this before where, like, being on stage and having to you've got, like, I've as from what I've seen anyway, you've got 2 types of DJs. One that, like, typically would have an MC that entertains the crowd while they just do the tunes, and
yeah.
then you've got, like, DJs that actually work with the crowd. They entertain the crowd. Where would you say you're sitting in that?
Well, I obviously come from an underground drum and bass background, and I used to love to have MCs on a set. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I love it. I think it's part of the culture, and I think it's always important to honor the culture,
Mm,
especially with a genre like drum and bass that originates from, London, Jamaican, like
yeah.
African culture. I think you need to honor that. So my ideal setting would be to work with an MC, and I this is a personal taste
Yeah.
or personal opinion, my personal taste. I'm not a big fan of DJs shouting in the mic and like making it all like more about them and who's shouting the loudest. I think it's good to connect with a crowd through a microphone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel like a set with a good MC just flows way better.
So
So I
sad
would,
at Manchester, and actually
yeah,
some MCs, they drive me insane when they talk over the drop. That
yeah,
really irritates the shit out of me because 'cause I'm like, "Mate, no, now I'm just disappointed." Like, but, like, some of them I can't remember who it was. I saw it on Tik it might be Culture Shock. He had one recently, and the guy on the drop, he went, "Lovely," and it was so British, and I was howling because I was like, "That is amazing." Like, just so to like that's just so different. But
yeah,
sometimes, yeah, they can, like just make noises instead of like entertaining, like "Bleh, bleh," and it's like, what are you doing? Shush. Like, but then some of them they'll go on and they know when the appropriate time is, when
Yeah,
to do it, and they get the crowd like proper hyped. And I love that.
exactly. Um, you can flip it around. Like Emily Mackis, for example, she tours with Deadline, and I saw her in Perth on New Year's Day, and she's not an MC, she's a vocalist. But if you just flip it around for a second, she's the act that comes on, and
Yeah.
actually the DJ is supporting her, right? But she does it so well. Like she's like a proper hype woman. Like she hypes up the crowd, sings her
Oh, she
lyrics.
does.
She knows exactly when the music needs to play for a bit. She did a great job with her set. Like she had that tense bounce in it was crazy. Um, and then other really good MCs that I've seen doing that. I love Strategy. I
Mm.
love him. Probably yeah, probably my favorite MC. SPMC always did a great job. Tamsa. Um, Yeah. Back in the day when I was younger, I loved that, like, MC energy where they talk over the drop with Jump Up, like Axman and Fat Man D and, like, who else did we see? Evil B, like, back in the day with the Low Down Deep crew, like, that was crazy. I was, like, 18 front row and then just have all these
Whoa.
MCs, like, double timing on Jump Up. Like, that's obviously also some part of culture, but I get what you mean if they play, like, a sub focus track with vocals on the drop, you don't want the MC to talk over
No,
it. No, you don't want
no,
that. Um, yeah, I think MCs just it's a matter of like getting in the studio with your DJ and just like know how your DJ plays and know the tunes yourself. Like the MC needs to know the tunes just as good as the DJ to be able to complement the tunes because an MC is there to complement. Um,
exactly.
you know?
You've hit that on the nail, like the nail on the head, actually. Like it has to complement them absolutely because there's, like I say, it's got to be done right. And I think when it is done right, I think it just brings that next level of energy into the rave, and you just feel like, wow, this is so. The guy, I can't remember his name. He supported Sota in Manchester.
Yeah, it must have been ID.
He was incredible. Like,
Yeah, it must have been
absolutely,
ID, I
he
think.
just knew when to do it, and there was none of this standing there going, "Why are you talking?" Like, you wanted him to.
Yeah.
Whereas I find that amazing, but, like, sometimes I used to have such a hatred for it, but, like, the more raves you go to, the more you learn people's styles and you know what works and what doesn't. So it's nice being on sort of the other side of it really, like, as a consumer, if you will. Looking at it from the other side of you being in the pit, if you will, of the rave. And but so when you're not producing music, like who are you listening to? Like who has inspired you the most?
Hmm. That's a tough one because I used to listen way more to drum and bass when I started making it. I don't listen to that much drum and bass in my free time anymore,
You're
for
not the
multiple
first person to
reasons.
say that. No, you're not the
Um,
first person to say that.
it's comes in phases.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do listen to a lot of drum and bass, but I listen more to like I listen to everything. Just a music lover. But yeah, me and my girlfriend, we drive a lot together, like to the
Mhm.
gym or to work or whatever, and we just listen to everything. Um, Within drum and bass, right now, I think Hulks is really sick.
Mhm.
Um, I love K9. Like I've always loved him. Um, who else in drum and bass? I love Krakoda. Love his tunes because very euphoric but not heavy. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's a very nice blend of like melodic, but still with a lot of pace and speed. Like I like that a lot. Um, I listen more and more to the older stuff again. I'm not a big fan of what's happening right now, to be honest, because everything starts to sound the same,
Yep.
and a lot of people try to be someone that's popular rather than exploring who they are themselves. I just had a studio session with 2 guys. They asked me if I could, like, give them a little advice and feedback on their music. Um And I told them what I was told when I first started, and then I didn't really know what to do with that advice, but I always got the advice, "Find your sound." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I make drum and bass, like, that's the sound I make." And but that's not what your sound is. Like, your sound is, how does drum and bass sound when you make it?
Yeah, exactly.
Not how does it sound when you try to sound like someone else, but how does it sound when you go into the studio and you're creative and you wanna make it? How do you want drum and bass to sound? That's your sound. And it took me ages to, understand that properly and, like, understand what it actually means. And I've only come to a point, like, in the past, like, 6 months, maybe last year, where I'm like, "Okay, I do think I know what my music has, or what my music sounds like and what I want it to sound like." And now I'm on a technical level where I can achieve that sound as well. So yeah, I listen to a lot of the stuff um from like 2014 at the moment, 2015, like the Ram Records type stuff that inspires me a lot because it has the same energy as the music that's popping off right now,
Yeah.
but all the DJs did it in their own way, or all the producers did it in their own way. Like, you can really tell the difference between a Calix and TV track, a Mind Vortex track, a Sub Focus track, and a Dimension track or Culture Shock track from that era.
Yeah, you do.
Everyone has their own drums, everyone has their own bass sounds. They all sound different, and that's what inspires me. I took a bit of a break the past year from releasing music because I found myself trying to make what already exists, and I got fucking exhausted from it. I was like,
Yeah.
"I don't want to do that," and that was the pressure from the music industry telling me, "You have to be like this artist or like this artist to be successful," and that's the biggest lie.
Mm.
You can only become successful if you have your own sound.
No, I agree with you because I can tell you, like I said before, like you can have, I can have like a blindfold on, and someone plays a specific type of genre, and like say we'll say drum and bass, and then go right, guess who this is, or guess who this is, and I would pretty much be able to guess who it is based on, like I say, typical example would be Sub Focus. Back in the old days, if you will, of Sub Focus, he was so unique in his craft. As time has progressed, and then you've got DJs wanting to sound like him, and then you've got like it's kind of like a spiral, and now it's a lot more mainstream. I prefer his old stuff personally, because I think that that made me fall in love with drum and bass. My journey started say like nearly 10 years ago. I was going through a breakup, and I was like, oh, I'm sick of listening to all this sad crap, and then I just randomly typed in like something like pumped up music or something, and then 1991 came on, Andromedic came on, Sub Focus, and then obviously Pendulum as well. But I
Yeah.
was an emo kid in my teenage years. I was a full on My Chemical Romance obsessed, loving going to Rock City in Nottingham, under 18s night, living my best life. But like Pendulum was such a big scene in the emo scene at the time.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a genre. They just did it. And that's what I love about Pendulum. I've seen them in a couple of weeks. Like, so my 15-year-old inner child's gonna be finally healed because I've finally can say I've ticked off Pendulum. But like, I just find it amazing how, you know, that that era had such unique, but then nowadays it's like I said, it's easier to take a sample from a track, chuck in an AI, and then lo and behold, you've got something that sounds like Sub Focus and people are releasing it.
Yeah, I think it's multiple factors. I think it's the music industry pressure. Like, you get the feeling with social media as well. Like, you see these big stages, you hear the music, and you're like, shit. If I want to be there, and everybody wants to get there, which is valid. Like,
Yeah.
everybody wants all of their music. It's a valid thought, and it's a valid like goal to achieve. But we can't all be headliners. We can't. There
No.
can only be that many headliners or, like, artists on the big stage. So, yeah, it becomes a bit of a competition, and then, yeah, people think they need to sound exactly the same to stand on the same stage, but I would disagree with that. It took me a long time to understand that, but I highly disagree with it, and I think the best thing you can do is just be yourself and strive for that sound because it's the only logical thing you should do because if you decide to spend so much free time on music production, so much money on music production, so much sacrifices for music production. Like the stuff I've sacrificed in my life to put time and money and effort into my music journey. I've moved to places just for music jobs. I traveled across the world. I haven't the past 3 Christmas Eves I've spent across the globe for my music, not with my family. The amount of birthdays, weddings, all that stuff I've missed because of music, you know? You make big sacrifices, and if you're gonna do that, I think you should try to explore your sound because that's the only thing that's gonna sell you, you know? And unfortunately, we are in this thing called music industry where you have to sell yourself, and it cost me a long, long time to admit and understand that properly. Um, yeah,
It's
but yeah,
frustrating.
I fully agree with you. Like that 2014, 15 era is like massively inspiring me right now because it just inspires me to explore and try things and make sounds and arrangements and songs that have a vibe rather than a formula. Because everyone now is following or everyone, you know what I mean? Like, not
I
everyone,
know
but
what
a
you
lot of
mean.
people are following, a formula. They're like, "Okay, intro needs to be like this, build up needs to be like this, the drop needs to be like this, and the vocal needs to sound like this, and the drums, I get them from here because then they sound like this." And I wanna step away, or I'm stepping away from that. I feel
Like
like,
strip it back sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like, it doesn't make me happy, and I wanna be happy while I make music because that's why I started it in the first place. I wanna enjoy it, and I didn't enjoy it anymore.
That's the biggest thing. I there was something that I picked up in that as well that, when you make sacrifices, I think for the most part, and I'm guilty of thinking this as well, like, I see artists on Instagram all the time, "Oh, I'm in this country, I'm in that country." And I know
Yeah,
they all have families, and I know they all have a life outside of what they do.
yeah.
And yeah, it's great going to Japan, China, wherever. But you have to make those sacrifices. Does it get lonely when you're touring sometimes?
It does, 100%. Um, I think what makes it feel lonely, obviously, is traveling. Like,
Yeah.
most travels, I'm just by myself. Um, it's very exciting to get to new places and meet people, but yeah, that rush of adrenaline is over quite quickly, and then yeah, you spend a lot of time just with yourself, and then sometimes it's also different time zones and like lack of sleep, and that can really get to you. And then sometimes you freak out. You're in New Zealand and you're like, shit, what if there's another COVID and I'm stuck here? Like, that's like
Yeah.
it is weird. It is weird. And when you think about it, and this is another thing that is so weird, and it's just because we're so spoiled. um all this traveling and stuff, yeah. We are so spoiled, like, what people in New Zealand wanna see me, people in Germany don't, because I'm from Germany. Because I'm from the same country, they're not interested. It doesn't seem as big, you know? When I come to Australia or Perth, people treat me like I'm an international superstar. I'm not, I'm just a normal guy. But it plays with people's, like, psychology, like, when you are from a different continent or a different country, it's easier to sell you. And it's so random, isn't it? Like, I fly across the world to play a 60-minute set at a venue,
Yeah.
and the local DJ, he wouldn't sell the tickets because the people wouldn't care. But it's the same music, and then you ask yourself, why are people actually coming? Is it for the music or is it for the name or like? And that is something that sometimes on tour makes it feel so random. Like, I have to travel all across the globe because I can't play in my own country because people just don't care.
That's
That's how
crazy.
spoiled we are. Like, I can't play in my hometown club. They won't book me because I
'Cause you're from
probably
there.
won't. Yeah.
What? That's really that is honestly, in my podcasting episodes, that's probably the most profound thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, that is crazy.
I mean, think about it. It's crazy. And if you play somewhere too much, right? Like, if you
Yeah.
play the same city 3 times a year, people are gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna go there. I've seen this guy already." Like, it's so random. I don't understand it really.
Do you think that's why a lot of DJs then they have like their final tours in their own countries because effectively that's why, because they're not getting booked?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I'm obviously not a full I tour sometimes, but I'm not like a full-time touring artist. Like, I don't have a tour schedule for the rest of the year like other people
Mhm.
do. Other people have a tour schedule until end of next year. I don't have that. Um, for me, it's really tough lately to tour like full time because I
Yeah.
didn't really I took a bit of a break. I was gone for a while. Um, so I'm not 100% sure about that, but I do notice that if when I tour, I always tour very far from home. Like it's not really something close to where I'm actually from. It's usually New Zealand, Australia, where people really want to see me. So yeah, I remember I was sitting in a hotel room one night and I was like, that it's just insane to me that I'm in this town in New Zealand and I just played a set here, and at home no one really cares about that, like that which was just weird to me. And that makes you feel lonely then because you're like, I really have to travel across the world to be able to do this. Like I I can't I have to be far away from my loved ones to do this because there is no market close to my loved ones for it. At least not for
Wow,
me.
that's crazy. Like that, yeah, that's thrown me. That has like, and I suppose a lot of people, I suppose from like the other side of it, would I rather see somebody that I enjoy listening to from another country than someone local? I suppose, yeah, I probably would. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Yeah, I suppose, but I suppose, and I know a lot of the local DJs round here, so I don't know. It's a bit, yeah, I can sort of see it from both sides, but I think like I think they should. If your hometown is listening, don't be mean. Let him come and play. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, to be fair, I played my hometown. I did play there in November,
Mhm.
but that was the only time in the last 3 years, I think.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's really mental, but yeah, like, wow. So you're sort of like quiet for the rest of this year then, like sort of like no big tours this year?
Um, yeah, like, we're working on stuff for the end of the year, and I have a lot of I mean, with music, it can go from here to here in a day, right? Um, I have lots of exciting music. I can feel and I can see that, like, there's so many people reaching out right now and asking me for tracks to sign and, like, tracks to play. I think I'll get to the point where it's gonna be more busy, definitely within the next 6 months because I the last 6 months, I didn't release a lot, but I did work a lot. Like, usually when I go silent, I put my time into crafting stuff, so I'm prepared. Like, I have a lot of stuff finished and a lot of stuff I'm very confident about. So right now, there's not a lot planned, but I think there's gonna be a big change within the next 6 months. I'm also, like I'm a big believer of, like, manifesting stuff.
Yeah.
I never was, but, when I met my girlfriend, she's way more spiritual than I was when I met her. And I was very impressed by that, the way she looked at things and like how she navigates through her life. And then I realized she opened so many doors for herself by living that way, by being positive and like by being putting out that energy and taking all these opportunities. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like I am usually a bit more calm and a bit more I take a step back and analyze and observe things rather than just throw myself into them. And that's something I took from her. Like I was like, wow, that's so cool how you navigate um through life that way. And honestly, she has opened so many doors for herself in the last 12 months. And I'm
Mhm.
like, wow. Like you sometimes think a year is not a lot of time, but then you look back, what have I done the last year? Oh my God, this and this and this happened, and the year just flew by.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to use my time wisely, and I think I prepped very, very well. As I was saying, I have this tune. I made this tune called Attention, and I just started posting about it. and I just started sending it to people, and the first one, and that's why I love him so much, K9, he replied, "Oh, this is a fucking banger, man."
Oh my
And then
god.
he played it, and then he posted it as well, and that's I think the universe giving back, because when he posts my tune, people are gonna ask, "What is that tune?" And it's
Yeah.
not his tune, but he decided to post it. So people asking, there's more traction, and then out of nowhere, Sota, I had sent it to him as well, but he didn't see it, and then I think Sota saw it on K9's, um, Instagram, and must have asked him like, "Yo, what's that tune?" And he was like, "Oh, it's DUX's tune." And then I think he checked his messages and he saw, "Oh, he sent it to me already," because he replied, "Man, this is so fresh, so sick." And then it just starts, then Delta Heavy comes asking, then Friction
Wow.
asks, then Andy C played it last night. Like, it just slowly starts getting played everywhere, and only because I started posting about it, sent it to K9, and he posted it as well. Like, the music industry is a weird place. It's very random, and it's a lot of luck. It's putting in the effort and time, and then a lot of luck. That's what it is.
Do you get like, oh, it's gonna sound, I'm just gonna have to say it how it is. Do you get like a little bit of a fangirl moment though when like Kanan's posting your stuff? Because I know I would, I'd probably like die from shock. Like,
I mean, it's not the first time he's done that, to be honest. And obviously, I've been around for a long time. Me and K9 started making music at the same time. Like, I
wow.
remember him starting making tunes. His first tune that like kind of got a lot of attention was called Detonate or
Yep.
Detonate, and got played by Noisia, and he had a SoundCloud, or like on his SoundCloud back then, he actually had his email and you could send him music. And I sent him tunes back in the day. Like, that's how long I go back with K9. Like, I followed
Wow.
him to the very, very first tracks that he dropped, and obviously I saw him rise to the top. Um so yeah, it's like I do feel honored, and I actually met him once, and he told me that he references my music to his music to like get the mix downs right and shit. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I use your tunes to do that. So yeah, it's like it I'm a fan of him because I feel like he's one of the only artists who always let the music talk. He
Yep.
never did any weird like social media stunts or whatever. Like, no, he just made really, really good music, and that's why he's where he is. And that's just something I really admire about him. And yeah, him posting my music and talking about it and like telling me it's sick, like, yeah, that's a massive compliment for me. Um, yeah, I just hope one day I make a banger with him. That's all I want to do.
I'll manifest that for you. No, it'll
Yeah.
happen. And that's the thing, like I was like a year ago, I was working in a an Italian restaurant. I hated my job. Like I actually hated it. And like working with like a bunch of bitchy people. My manager was an arsehole. Do you know what I mean? Like you hate your life and like you're like, I need to change it, but I don't know what that looks like. And I kept doing the same thing, like putting it out there, like I'm gonna manifest this. I don't know what I'm gonna manifest. I need to do something, but I don't know what that looks like. And then it was like I say, that day in Manchester, everything just kind of went bang. And I went, looks like I'm doing a podcast. Like this is, and I've had people go, "Oh, you're stupid quitting your job. You're stupid doing this." And it's like, well, if you don't take a chance, and then if it doesn't work out, I can say I tried. But I
Yeah.
still like I'm enjoying this, like enjoying talking to people that I personally listen to and being able to say, thank you for like giving me your time, but also thank you for making bloody amazing stuff like that makes me happy, that helps my mental health. And, because I think a lot of the time people don't realize the impact drum and bass has on people's mental health. Like it saved my life like so many times. And
Yeah, same
yeah.
for me. Same for me. Like, drum and bass has always been the only type of music that like really hit the spot, Like, I mean, drum and bass and metal for me, like it's like a very they're like kind of the same level. But yeah,
They
those
are.
two
No, they are. Yeah.
really hit the spot, and like because I could feel the emotion in the music. I think with a lot of other genres, I don't really have that, and that's the beautiful thing about drum and bass. Like, you can go crazy with tracks like "Cut 'Em Down," but you can also cry to tracks like "Here for You" by Becky Hill. You know?
Oh, yeah, that one gets me every time. I can't listen to it for that reason.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, there's a few actually I can think of that, like, you can sit there and you go, "Gosh." You know, the first time I heard Air by Andromedic, I told him to his face, like, the first time I heard that track, I says, "When I die and I'm ascending to the realms of heaven or whatever it is, if that track's not playing, they better resuscitate me and kill me again so I can do it again." Like, because that song has just been ingrained into my bloody soul. Like, and that's the thing, because sometimes you will hear it and you think, gosh, Waiting for You by Freaks and Geeks. That was my ringtone for like 2 years. Because it's the first word. Like, do you know when you've got those kind of those melodies and it's like on repeat and it gets in your head? Like, they're the type of things that I love so much. But then they
Yeah.
can become really dangerous. Like some tracks I've heard recently, and I'm like, oh my God, like I hate this track so much, but it's so bloody catchy. And that then it becomes dangerous territory. So but yeah, it's nice to be able to like sit here and actually thank people personally. Like, thank you for making incredibly good music. And as I said to Freaks and Geeks yesterday, I'm collecting your like Pokemon cards at the minute. So
Ah, okay.
but no, it's amazing. It's actually just amazing to like, that's why I set up the podcast, because it was like talking to people about who the person is behind the track. Because you can listen to these artists and they're just a sound. But when you actually get to know the people behind the music, you're like, well, now I know that, like for you, you put a lot of effort into X, Y, and Z tracks because you were going through that period in your life. So it makes you a human. And I think that's like one thing that I think isn't available as in the music industry as much. Like journalists that will go and interview it, no, why did you decide to do this? Like, rather than actually get to know you as a person, like a real human being.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I actually think that the music industry and the drum and bass scene, like the drum and bass scene has become more and more part of the music industry. So yeah, it just disconnects a little bit from the scene, unfortunately. So yeah, I think it's great to see people like you being like, I can't make music or I don't want to make music, but I do want to do something for the scene. Because end of the day, the scene is not only DJs and producers or vocalists. The scene is way more than that. The scene is like podcasts, blogs, channels like YouTube channels and stuff like that, and the ravers obviously, and yeah, it's good to see that you're doing it. It's very nice to be asked to jump on it and to get a bit of a platform and just have a nice chat and talk music and things, because
Yeah.
that's why I started it in the first place. I started making music because I went to a rave. I felt very included, which I never had when I went out. And then I went to a rave and I was like, whoa, this is different. And then when I heard the music for the first time, I realized I can make this too. And I want to make this as well. And I want to make music that if someone goes to a rave for the first time and hears my tune, that they have the same feeling that I had when I first came here. That was my whole ambition when I started making tunes,
Yeah.
to give people the feeling I had when I first discovered it. Because I can, like I'm lucky enough to have the ability and the talent and now also the knowledge to, create this music and express things that other people simply can't express, because that's what it is, end of the day. There's the listeners usually can't express it themselves, so that's why they listen to the music. And yeah, I'm lucky enough to be able to express my feelings through music, and the crazy thing is I have to do it. I have to do it to stay sane. Like I can't not do it. It's like an urge. It's like it has to happen. When I went through this bad phase in my life, I didn't give a shit what anyone was thinking about me. I just needed to get it out. I just needed to get all these feelings into a piece of art, into a piece of music, and get it out there. And now I listen back to these tunes and I can see myself in that phase of my life, and I'm so happy that I put it into music, and now I'm in a much better place. And I just can remember that version of myself that was in such a rough place and was still able to express that and put it into music. That's just a really good reminder for myself as well, that there's always going to be a better time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks really, really dark and it's really, really rough, but there's going to be another day, and yeah, that's what keeps me going.
Exactly. No, and that's such a sort of a good way to kind of talk about mental health and music, and this is the whole reason behind the podcast. Like, that people look at the artists and they think, oh, they just must all just have it together. They're all just going about their day, just living their best lives. But it's not always like that. And
No,
like for me, although before I did the podcast, I've always done content creation anyway. There'll be times where I'll go on the camera and I'm having a rant about how this car has cut me off and he's pissed me off and whatever. And there's been times like 10 years ago where I've been sat like having a massive, like, sort of like big rant and moan about something. And although they're all unlisted now, and I don't, because that was another version of me back then, a very unhealed version. I look at myself now. I'm 35. I look at myself now and I think, oh my God, like when I was 25, I didn't have a bloody clue. And now, jump a decade. And it's amazing how you can look back at yourself and look at the content, or in your case, the music that you've produced, and go, wow, I've really evolved as a person. And there's nothing to be ashamed of because we all do it. Just everyone does it in their own way.
exactly, exactly.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. No, it's really it's I mean, with music anyway, like in that perspective and also technical perspective, like you listen to music I made like 15 years ago and I'm like, oh my God, I had no clue what I was doing. Like I had no idea how to make this music, how to produce this music. And now you listen back and or now you listen to what you do now, you're like, yeah, I actually sound in terms of professionalism
mhm.
kind of how I expected to sound when I was younger. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Do you ever look back at your music though and cringe and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I released that," or is it all like a learning curve?
Um, I I don't know if I don't know if I cringe of it. Um, I think I just didn't know any better and I was trying, and I don't think there's anything to cringe about. Um, I just I do I just learned a lot of stuff, you know. One thing I've learned is I don't have to release everything. I don't have to put everything
Yeah,
out. I've also learned when it's time to let go of something, when to put something out. You know, like I used to be very obsessed with making things perfect, and you can't make something perfect. You can only make something or get something to a point where it satisfies you enough to let it go. So sometimes I listen back to stuff and I'm like, oh, yeah, like at the time I probably reached my limit and I just let it go. Now I probably would like work a bit longer on it. Or there's stuff where I'm like, oh, I spent way too much time on that. Like I should have dropped it way earlier. And one thing also a lot of artists don't understand for themselves. When you make music, you have an idea in your head. Usually the idea is like a quick part for me, and then the technical stuff can take long. So you
yeah.
listen to your own idea over and over and over and over and over again, and this track like follows you every day, and you listen to it in the car and on your phone and on your Bluetooth speaker, and then you show it to someone you listen in the studio. Until the track gets released, I've probably listened to it 1,000 times. Like, to me, it's nothing new no more. Like, I've heard it so many times. It literally came from here. Like, sometimes I dream about a song ideas. Like, I wake up in the morning and I was like, I was dreaming about a melody and I'm gonna make it into a tune.
Wow.
So, it's in my head all the time, and
Yeah.
then you release it, and then I'm not even touched by it anymore, you know? Like, I'm like, "Yeah, it's nothing new to me." And then someone else hears it for the first time and you're like mind blown. And how did you make that snare sound so good and blind? I'm like, what do you mean? Like it's just oh, it's not special to me anymore. Like, and that is something you need to understand for yourself as an artist as well. Like, yeah, you hear it so much and you're so involved with it all the time. Like it's a bit of an illusion at some point, you know, like you lose the spark with it maybe, but for other
Yeah.
people, it's gonna be incredible, you know, and they can't get enough of it, and they haven't heard all the other versions of it and all the times the snare didn't sound great, you know, but you have all that relationship with your music, which other people don't have. They have all different type of relationship with your music. Um, yeah, that's a very, very weird thought sometimes. But I've learned that it is that way, and I just I've come to a point where I know when to let a track go. You know, like this attention tune, for example, I think it's ready to get out there. Like
Yep.
it's getting the appreciation. I've never had so many messages about a tune from random people I don't even know because I've been
Wow.
posting all these trial reels and I'm reaching people that don't follow me, and so many people asking for it. Like people start following me and ask me to send them the track, and I'm like, what do you mean?
Gosh, that's mental. Yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose, like, especially if something's blowing up in a good way like that, then you know you're gonna have to release it. You're gonna have to drop it. When are you planning on doing that, or is it gonna be a bit of a teaser for a while?
To be fair, I'm just trying to get momentum at the
Yeah,
moment
makes sense.
because if all the I just want all the DJs to play it over summer. That's what I want. I want this track to be the track everyone hears over summer, and everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell?" And then release it after summer. Like that's kind of the idea, you know?
Yeah, that typically is how a lot of artists I've noticed they do that, but sometimes for the consumer, it's frustrating when you want something so much and you have to freaking practically beg the artist to drop it. Like when Arcando and Andromedic did Hold Me in Heaven, like they teased that for months, months. And then when I was told when the release date was going to be, and it was like months from when they first started teasing it, and I was like, "Oh my god." But to be honest, it flies by when you know when it's coming out, but when you don't know, it's the most frustrating thing because you just wanna blast it in your car so bad and you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, that's true. That's true. I released a song 5 weeks ago called Rockathon. And
Yep.
then Cutting Down was only 3 weeks after, and it went so fast, so fast,
Yeah,
so fast. And now the next one, we're kinda deciding what the next one's gonna be. So it's not penciled, or scheduled in right now, but, yeah, I'll probably do 1 or 2 more, and then it's probably gonna be that one.
that's
I
awesome.
I
Yeah, because
think.
people typically, like you kind of give them something in between that, and then they still look forward to it, but they still have something in the meantime. I like that concept. It definitely works.
Yeah, yeah. No, as I said, I've worked on so much stuff, and I'm still, like, working on so many things. It's just timing at the moment, you know? I'm like
Course.
it's, sometimes I work on a tune and I just get lost in, like, technicalities and technical stuff, and then a day is gone and I haven't done anything creative, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I need to finish this tune." Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, I don't know, I get, like, these hyper focused, um, moments where I can literally be in the studio for 12 hours, don't eat, don't drink, don't go to the toilet, and I don't even recognize, and then it's like, "Oh, the time is all gone." That's I can get very hyper focused, which is not the best, thing, I guess, but yeah.
Do you know what? I get you on that. Like for me, I've got obviously like I think I've recorded like 6 podcasts in the last week and I've got to edit them all. And I think like for me, the worst thing, like it's not even the recording. This is the easy bit. The thing that comes after is thinking of a title, which I struggle with every single time because I got some advice of like social media content creators. They're like, because I just wanted to call it like for you, interview with Dux, DMB, whatever. And then like the guy that's coming out tomorrow, Exception. He's from Belgium, bloody love him. And he was like, I was like, I don't even know what to call it because we just all kind of talk about the same stuff, but it's always a different take. But I
Yeah.
would just rather call it that. But everyone's like, no, you need to call it something that people search. So when I do my content on TikTok, I
Pressure
did
pressure of the podcast industry.
literally, yeah. What does everyone really think of AI and stuff like that? But like, yeah, it's very I don't. I'm one of those like, yeah, also got called by DJ. He was like, "You're basically a music journalist," and I was like, "Oh, I'm not a journalist." And he was like, "It's not a bad thing though, because you're getting a story, you're piecing it together, but you're just doing it naturally. Like you're not like working for the Sun newspaper and like making up stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can
Yeah.
embrace it. You're allowed to call yourself a journalist." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know," but I think the thing for me is like it's the title. That's the thing that I struggle with the most. Like I've got exceptions coming out tomorrow and I still don't know what the hell to call it. Because I don't want to call it anything else. But I think because like if someone wants to know something about you, why would they not type in an interview with? It just makes sense. So, yeah, that
Mhm.
stresses me out. I think that's the part of mine though. I get so hyper focused trying to think of a name of a podcast that it actually hurts my head. By the end of it, I'm like, oh, I'll just and then it'll come to me at like 2 in the morning, and I have to get up, literally go and write it down somewhere before I forget. It's so stressful.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I think just keep it simple, you know?
Yeah.
Do you want me to come up with a title for this one?
Oh, go for it. If you could think of one, what would it be? That would be so funny.
Um,
What does Dux really think of the music industry?
nah, I would call it, I think, something like music industry or music scene. What are Dux's thoughts on the evolution of drum and bass? Like something like that.
Oh, I love that. And I don't even have to write it down because this is recorded. So if it's one of them, then we know it worked. But yeah, I honestly, that's the only thing that I struggle with the most. And then also like putting myself out there as well. Like you have to put yourself out there. I now
Yeah.
have to build up a reputation of trust with the artist because I'm like, I messaged a few like big people in the music industry and they were like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, maybe I'm aiming like these were like music, they were like management companies, not mentioning any of them because I don't want to get in trouble, but like
That's so good. But this is what we talked about earlier. Like,
they're not going to gain anything from it. So why would they want to help me?
exactly.
And that was a bitter pill to swallow at the beginning. I was a bit like, well, actually, that's I was like, that's absolute bullshit. Like I was so angry, like, how dare you say that I'm a nobody because you're no better than me just because you've got money and a nice car. Do you know what I mean? I also have a nice car, but mine's on finance. But yeah, like mine's not owned outright. But yeah, and that's the thing. I think for the most part, like talk like that's the way when you strip it all back, we're all just people. We're just existing here.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I see it in a different way. I see it like this. I'm part of a music scene and the scene has done a lot for me. And if
Mhm,
I can give something back to the scene, I will do that anytime. Can I maybe I can't help everywhere, but
mhm.
I had time for this and I'm keen to have a chat about music.
Yeah.
So if I can do you a favor, I'm happy to do so.
No, and I appreciate it but there's also for like I've got a lot of up and coming ones coming on as well. Like there's one guy, he's got like, oh bless him, he's got like 100 followers on TikTok and his music's pretty bloody good to be fair. And I was like, look, just come on. And if it gives you a bit of exposure, then that would be great for you as well. And I suppose, like I say, it's give and take, isn't it? But no, I honestly like really, really appreciate it because a lot of bigger like artists, like even on your level, have said no, and they're like, "Oh no," because I don't know you, and it's like, but that's the whole point, isn't it? If you don't understand the scene, then you're not giving to it. Then yeah, some people take the
Yeah,
fame and they run with it, don't they? And it goes to their head.
yeah. And I also think um we're gonna go back to more underground because there's gonna be some type of at some point this whole music industry, big fees for artists and expensive festival tickets, it's gonna crash. It's there will be a point soon where people just simply can't afford it anymore. It's already happening. Like cost of production, cost of artist fees is going so crazy high. Like the top percent of artists make so much money and everyone else is trying to that I think that's the biggest issue. The cake's big enough. It's just split in a weird way. The top 1% takes it all, and the promoters have to pay that,
Yeah.
and then therefore they have to increase the ticket fees, or the ticket prices and the artist fees and the booking fees. They just so crazy high for the headliners. But yeah, if there's no headliner, the people are not coming because the people come
Wow.
for the headliners, right?
True.
So it's kind of a bit of a weird market because you see it a lot in the UK, these daytime festivals, you know? Back in the day, there was no daytime festival. Now you get a daytime festival with different stages and different headliners. No club can compete with that
No.
because a club can get a headliner, maybe 2, but obviously has a limited capacity.
Of
But
course.
sometimes the fees for these artists are not limited, like, they ask ridiculous amounts of money for a club show. Um, so how's the promoter gonna do that if people would rather go to a daytime festival than a club night? Because at the daytime festival, they pay, let's say, £100, but they see all these artists, and then for a club night, they have to pay 40 or £50, but they only get 2. They're not gonna do
Yep,
that, and that's the culture is the scene is literally destroying itself.
yep.
And yeah, that is a massive issue, and the reason why everybody wants to get to the top is because they wanna live off their music, and you can't live off your music if you're not in the top 1%. It's
Exactly.
impossible. It's impossible. It's with the current state of the world, it's not possible to live. I mean, for some people it is. When I say not possible, I just mean, like, compared to what it is as a headliner.
No,
If
absolutely.
you're a mid-tier artist, you have to do something on the side. At least have a Patreon or, like, teach people music production or all that stuff, because you can't live off a £350 fee and
No,
then
you
pay your own
can't.
hotel and pay your own travel, and this is something people don't really wanna talk about because, yeah, if you point this out, obviously, yeah, it's just something people don't really wanna talk about, but it's a massive issue. And it's something I would like to hear more of from other artists as well, because the cake's big enough. It's just shared in the wrong way, I think.
No, you're correct because it's like prime example. I live round the corner from Download Festival. And literally, I had my bedroom window open 2 nights ago, could hear the whole thing, it was brilliant, it was free for me, so but, the tickets, like, a few of my friends went, and they were telling me, like, how in the hundreds to go for a
Mm.
weekend, and then you've got I saw some of, like, the I mean, this is where it, like, just becomes extortion, like, you've got the coffee stands where it's, like, £7 for a latte, I'm like, "Are you joking?" Like, and people moan about the price of Starbucks and stuff like that, and it's like, whereas worried about Henry, which is where I'm going in a couple of weeks, it's like 90 quid for a VIP ticket. Like, and that's an all day 10-hour rave. Like, I'm down for that. But you're right. I mean, like, I think Sota was like 20, 30 quid. And that was like 4 artists, but that was like an all nighter and it was absolutely mint. Like, but then you've got some events I couldn't afford to go to because they're just stupid money. Like, and you just think like in the state of the world anyway, like who can afford that? Who can literally people are getting into debt to go and see their favorite artist, and it just something just seems a bit wrong about that.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's like, I'm all for paying, like, obviously, as an artist, you put a lot of time into art that no one pays you for. So I do understand, like, certain
Yeah.
amount of fee. I do understand it. But we talk about DJs charging 30, 40, 50,000 euros or pounds for a festival set, or even more, which is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. That
Yeah.
is ridiculous. I understand you have a manager, I understand you have a booking agent, I understand you have a videographer, and I understand you need to pay the bills as well.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
but
It's been a bit more fair,
I
hasn't it?
reckon everything above 10 grand is a bit out of place. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, like
But
here,
no,
I'm in a group on WhatsApp. I'm just looking it up now. There's like someone selling a Boomtown ticket. It's like 5 I think it's like a 3, 4 day rave. But it's just for the weekend. It's like nearly £400, and you're like, oh my god! Like
and it's
I couldn't,
resale.
I couldn't even do that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to. Don't get me wrong, like, I'd love to go to all of these raves and like I say, just for me, going to see Andromedic in Belgium, I mean, it was like 150 quid for my flight, then my ticket, then my hotel. You're looking 500 quid just to go. And it's like, I have to save up over the year. So as much as I would want to go to every single one, you have to be so selective. Otherwise it, like I say, it just gets pricey, especially with the price of flights now.
Yeah. No, it's a weird one. And then you ask yourself again, like, what is it for? Is it for the music scene or is it for the industry? Like, it's again, like, I understand everyone that's chasing this career that you really want to get to the top because it's amazing and you've worked for it all your life. So have I. But yeah, it's when you like I've worked in managements, like I know how deals are made. Like I've worked for big artists in the dubstep house scene, and that's different money. That there
Yeah.
was always different money than drum and bass. Drum and bass only recently got to the level of these big fees, but in other scenes, like the dubstep scene in America, like those DJs made stupid money before COVID. It was stupid, and the
Yeah.
house DJs have always made crazy amounts of money. Like there is DJs you talk about $1 million fee for a festival show and stuff like that, you know?
Gosh.
Um, and that's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, it's a topic that needs to be talked more about because the problem is, in my opinion, a lot of people are sold a dream that looks really good on social media, but in real life is really, really tough. If you quit your job and do music full time, you really, really, really have to be lucky to be able to get to this point, you know, like,
Yeah.
and you really, really need to know what you're doing because I think a lot of people get caught up in this dream of like, oh, music producer and DJ and artist, as you said before, like they live the rock star life and the dream life, and it's not that. It's not always that. I mean, if you make 100 grand a show, it might be that, but then
Yeah.
again, money isn't the only thing that makes you happy. Like money doesn't make you happy. Money just gives you a relief with certain things, but it doesn't
Yeah.
make you happy.
No.
Um, so yeah, it's a weird dream because it's just a big hustle and grind.
It is, and pretty much every single DJ, apart from a couple that I've spoke to, have a day job because it's not sustainable unless you are really out there. Most of the DJs I've spoke to, they're like, "No, I have a day job," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And one I had to speak to on their lunch break in their office, which I was just like, "That's amazing." But like,
Yeah, but this is the thing. That's exactly what it is and what it should be because you know, I mean, that shows that you're in it for the scene. You know, like you do it whatever it takes to do it. Um,
absolutely,
I don't. I'm lucky. I don't have a day job. But to be completely honest, to support myself, I'm doing fine.
yeah.
Having a partner living in on the other side of the world and trying to have a family at some point, it's not going to be enough. It's not. It's not. And it can change obviously. And I think as every other career, a career in music should pay you to support a family and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Um, if you are on a certain level, right? Like if you've done your part and you're talented and you know what you're doing, I think it should pay you um at least enough to support you and your family. Um, I'm not talking crazy amounts here, and yeah, I mean,
Almost like a stable job, isn't it? Like a good
yeah, I
just a good
think
enough income to get by,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like that's kind of what I want from it. Like,
That's what I want from what I do too, like, I'm not waiting for millions of pounds. That'd be nice, I'd pay my mortgage off, but, like, it for me is saying, "Well, I have a good job to get by and pay the bills and stuff," we're doing okay, at the moment, but, like, I do also look at it like I have kids, I have to sort my life out in that way, but then I've devoted a lot of my life to I had my kids, did the whole like marriage thing, all that. I've done all that, and then got a mortgage, doing the house up. The house is demolition zone at the moment. It's brilliant, but but now I'm like, now kids are a bit older. I want my life back. I want to do things for what I want to do. And I think it's really hard but when you've done it the other way round, like you've done what you want to do. Then when you have a family, you have a legacy to leave that child as well, which is amazing. Like, I've said to a couple of DJs before, like when your kids are older and they're like, oh my God, that's my dad's music. Like, that's amazing. Like,
I've never thought about that. That's crazy.
yeah,
I've never
this
thought
is the
about
song that I did before you were born, like, and I've seen some parents actually take their kids to raves, like, I think another one off the top of my head, like, Coven,
that. Yeah,
she's not long just had a baby, and I'm like, she's straight back in it, and she's got this absolute glow about her, and I'm like, "Good for you, girl." Do you know what I mean? Like, doing raves when she was pregnant, I was like, "Good for you," you know?
that's
Like, and
mad.
it's become like almost become like sort of a family community now, drum and bass, and I love that, so
Yeah. Yeah, I've never thought about that. That is crazy.
You got a
That is ma
legacy. That's it. When you have kids, you're gonna have a legacy to leave, and, yeah, that's really lovely actually, to be able to have that. And it's the same with, like, my podcasts and stuff, like, my kids listen to them, and, I love that, especially my 13-year-old son, because he's
Oh,
really
say
wanting
hello
to.
to your kids at this point then.
Oh, thank you. He's gonna my son Finlay, he's gonna absolutely go mental because he loves what he's got my Spotify, so he listens to what I listen to. And I was like, "Oh, guess who I interviewed today?" And like I have a conversation. I bought him a set of decks. He's just getting into it, and like you can see it in his face, like because he's learning and he's getting frustrated because he can't make two songs match. And I'm like, because that's not really meant to go. And it's like trying to teach him about that. And then he's like, I can hear him in his bedroom, Mom, Mom, I've done this track. Oh my God, Mom. And it's like watching it from the other side. Like that's why I do what I do. Cause like a lot of it is like for him as well, that he's going to have when he's older. Well, like my mom's into drum and bass scene. I'm going into it. And I bloody love seeing him like get so creative with it. And yeah, they're the new generation, aren't they? It's just, I've just told him like he's not using friggin' AI. And that's as simple as that.
Yeah, well, this is another thing. It all comes from practice. You have to
Yeah.
put a lot of time into it, a lot of effort into it, and then you can be proud of yourself. If you want things to go quick, that's not how it works. And then you also don't get the satisfaction when it actually works. It's like a video game. You know, when you play a video game and it's like it's a tough level and it
Yeah.
takes you freaking 25 attempts and then it takes you 50 and 100 and then on the 111th you beat the boss and you that feeling is insane. And it's the same with DJing and producing and all that stuff. When I make a tune now and it comes all together and I release it and it like this attention tune, again, DJ's playing it, that feeling is insane. And no one and I've worked hard for it. So, it's my
Mm.
accomplishment. I can enjoy it. And that's what it's about. People forget it's about the journey. It's about the journey, and then when you get there, that's your reward. And when he mixes his first two tracks together, he's gonna be so happy, you know?
Yeah, he will. He will. And I say he's 13, he's getting the hang of it. And it's like I keep telling him, like, don't give up. Like, if you want something so bad, you've got to do it because yeah, there's like
Exactly.
a whole thing about getting the right software for him and all of that. So like any recommendations to new people about software for just mixing purposes?
Well, I learned mixing in Ableton, so I actually
Okay.
learned it in a production software, and I would just get the MP3s of the tunes and just put them under each other, and then put EQs on there, just like there's on a mixing desk, and I would just play around with that, and that's how I got the ears and the feeling for how to mix tracks, and
Mm.
so it was less about the beat matching, it was more about the clarity between them,
Yeah. Yeah.
understanding the structure and arrangement, and then I just took that to the mixer, and then that's how I learned it.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh, bless you. No, I'm sure he's gonna absolutely love to hear that. So thank you. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
that's so good.
But
Amy, I've probably gotta go in a
yeah,
couple
me
minutes.
too. Because I looked at the time and I was like, "Oh my god, it's 2 and I need to go get my kids from school in half an hour." So yeah.
It's 20 past 9 here,
Oh my god, yeah. But thank you so much for coming on. Like honestly, I think we could have literally done like 5, 6 episodes in one for that. So
for
thank you.
sure, sure.
No, you're a superstar, and everyone check this amazing DJ out. He's one of my favorites. So honestly, thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime, I appreciate ya. We'll do it for the sing.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. You can find my podcast every Tuesday and Thursday, and don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. See you next time.